Yeah, yeah, it's another episode of Views from the Stand, guys. We're sorry that we have kept it delayed for quite a while in the new year. It's because of circumstances beyond our control. We're back, and today it is me and my brother from Ghana. I mean, people say that we are rivals, but at the same time, no matter the rivalry, whether it's your love rivalry, whether it's football rivalry, whether it's which women have the biggest backside, whatever, who have the best music, we are still brothers. Whether you like it or not, we're still West African brothers, we're black brothers, everything. So I'm with my brother from Ghana today, and we're going to talk about quite a lot of things, but I'll be centered around Chelsea because some time ago he said, oh, Chelsea will do this, Chelsea will do that. Well, we're in a place now where I really need to see him put his mouth where his money is, or probably put his money where his mouth is. And the best way to clear that up is to ask him, Marcus, are Chelsea heading in the direction you expected them at this stage of the season, or something's gone wrong?
Yeah. Something has gone wrong. Something has gone wrong.
What went wrong?
Something has gone wrong. Like I said, the keeper, the defense, the striker. They deceived me for a couple of games. Deceived me for a couple of games, but back to square one. I'm humbled now, so I can't even talk with that confidence I was talking with the other time.
Why didn't Chelsea get at least a goalkeeper in the transfer window? Just as people say, why did Arsenal get a striker? But why didn't Chelsea get a goalkeeper? Because it was glaring that Sanchez, Chelsea have considered five or so goals now of the direct error of a goalkeeper, unforced errors. And January transfer window was open. You didn't get a goalkeeper. Why?
I guess the arrogance of the coach. Because the question is, we already had a keeper last season with Petrovic. Why did we take him out on loan for Sanchez, who was our number one beginning of last season, and because of horrible form, he was dropped. But I don't know what Maresca saw. And yes, it's arrogance. He made a mistake. Just let's go and correct it because you bought Jorgensen, and I don't even know why we bought him because yes, well, he's better than Sanchez to me, but not for number one. So I guess it's just arrogance of the coach trying to stick with the laurels. And he has eaten humble pie by having to bench Sanchez because, like you said, the errors are glaring. It has cost us a lot of points. And I remember seeing a video, I think, after the second goal for Haaland when we played Man City, Enzo just like hitting his head. They've given up on him. I don't know why we didn't buy a keeper, but let's hope that things we can hold on to the fourth spot.
Let's jump away from Europe and come back to Ghana. The draws for the African Cup of Nations was heard last week, Monday. Ghana is not there. As much as we want to banter Ghana, there's just the sad feeling that, oh, Ghana will not be at the African Cup of Nations. They've been there back to back for ten straight years, and then all of a sudden they are not there. The World Cup qualification, what are your chances? Does it look like Ghana can make it to the World Cup in US, Canada, and Mexico, or is also going to be a no-show for them?
As a football fan, a lover of my country, I hope we make it. And as a patriotic citizen, I hope we don't. Because I mean, it's actually turned out to be good news in Ghana that we are not at the AFCON. Even though, yes, it would feel we are not supporting our country and things, but at least we don't have to hear our sports ministry saying they spent $3 million, $5 million, $10 million on cost and all that. Whilst even the prize money is not as much, and with all these things that come with it. So for now, the country has been saved some money. But as well as we make it, I hope we make it so that I can watch the World Cup supporting my country. I hope so. But can I guarantee that we'll make it? I can't.
What can be done to resurrect Ghanaian football? I mean,
Hmm.
it's not that bad. I look back to the days where it was Stephen Appiah, Michael Essien, Mutari, Suleiman Mutari, Ado. These guys were solid. And then all of a sudden now, you look at the Ghana team, like, I mean, we also have our own problem in Nigeria. So let's not even mock you people. We are the same. Our own is even kind of worse because we have this picture of, oh, Nigeria have superstars, superstars. And then we have this deception. We played in the finals of the AFCON in Ivory Coast last time out. So it looks like it's good, but it's really, really bad. We're like a duck on top of the water, smooth sailing, but underneath the water, we're struggling for our lives. What can be done to revive Ghana football? Is it a short term fix or is it a long term thing, say 10 years, 15 years? That's when the football will come back to life.
I mean, we should have a short-term plan and we should also have a long-term plan. But I don't think we have because it's deeply rooted. The fans are not in the stadium anymore. The whole overall product is horrible. I don't think even the players are worth watching. So, short term, find a way to get the fans filling the stadium again, to get the popularity with it, find some investors and money, and hopefully the money will be put into good use, not enter the pockets of some few executives and their cohorts. And I think overall the product, or invest in the academy, get these talents, all over again. And yes, so short term, I think we just try and rally and get the fans and the citizens in love with the game again. Because once they start filling the stadium, I think we can work on the long term because the product is just no good. I don't think even the players are even good for us to be able to even enjoy them.
Now you have a new president, and that was overwhelmingly and unanimously voted for by the citizens. Have you seen anything in his body language that shows that sports might just get a better look in compared to previous governors, presidents, sorry?
Mm. I mean, he's 1 month into office. He just finished finalizing his ministers because he decided to work with a certain limit to cut his settings. So he has appointed a sports minister who I don't think has any experience in that sector. So let's just hope. Let's just hope. Because his body language is used in Ghana. That includes sports. And I think he spoke a lot about getting Ghana back to its glory days in terms of sports, even recently when he was officially, inaugurating his minister for that sector. But as to whether the minister who is now occupying that portfolio can do the job, I don't think so. But he seems enthusiastic that he'll bring Ghana back to its glory days. So we hope so. All the
So,
best.
so we switch to the league before we go back to Europe. There was a time where league football, Asante Kotoko, Accra Hearts of Oak, these were teams that Kumasi Gold, these are teams that people were afraid of when it comes to Ghanaian football playing on the continent. I mean, when the draws for the CAF Champions League or the CAF, the Cup Winners' Cup or the CAF, which is now the CAF Confederations Cup, when it's being drawn, you always pray, let's not meet Accra House of Oak. Let's not meet Ashanti Kotoko. Do we still have powerhouses like that in the Ghanaian league?
To an extent, Kotoko and Haas are still the powerhouses. We have Mediana Stars, amongst others. But, well, they are still the powerhouses, Kotoko and Haas, but it's not like a vast odds and they are not on the top like before. So there's another competitors who can actually, with the right development, the right investment, and right structure, would actually, be able to do some damage. But like we said, what's the plan? I don't know what the plan is.
Let's
Even
jump.
Kotoko versus half it's not filling the stadiums again. And no matter
Wow.
what was happening, that match was what used to fill the stadium.
Let's jump back to Europe now. Before the transfer window opened on the 1st of January, the expectation was that Arsenal was going to sign a striker. We had lost Bukayo Saka. And then during the course of the window, Gabriel Jesus was lost. And, it was obvious that a striker was needed. Arsenal didn't sign a striker. They seem to have, managed to avoid defeat in the league since the start of the year, even though they are out of the cup competition. The Champions League, they qualified among the top teams in the league. And somehow, what looked like, oh, it was a bad season, is beginning to look again like, okay, they might wither the storm and they won't miss it. But do you think that Ateta made a mistake not signing a striker, or probably it is okay for them to wait for the summer window and then go for that one key striker that they need?
He made a mistake And even if we wait for the summer window, I don't think he would even go for another striker. And I'm bold to say that Arteta needs to go to take Arsenal to the next level. Yes, he has done well bringing Arsenal from where he was in the past. He's not always in the striker. How many seasons
What do
are we
you
still?
mean? What do you mean Arteta needs to go?
He's bottling it at the most important moments. You don't lead the league. I mean, you are setting unwanted records. Was it last 2 seasons? You led the league basically the whole time, lost it in clutch. Last season again, you lost it when you needed the most. He's bottling the league. And you should have bought a striker. We've been making the same argument
He's
for how
bottled the
many?
league only once. Last season, Man City was overtly superior. 2 seasons ago, Man City won the treble. So, who's that team when Man City are in their element that can really overhaul them? Two previous seasons before last 2 seasons, Liverpool was like Arsenal. They were there
And
chasing,
Arsenal,
but then Man City
and
won it.
Arsenal with a
Man,
striker will be that team that would knock Man City off in their elements.
okay, but before we say that, Spurs have strikers, nowhere to be found. Manchester United have strikers, nowhere to be found. Chelsea have strikers, nowhere to be found. Liverpool, who are top now, they've always had strikers. The only reason Liverpool are topping the league is because Man City fell off the perch. If Man City were also in their element, Liverpool will be second, Arsenal will be third, and Man City will be on top again. So what's really that thing that makes people think? And then again, if you think 2 seasons ago, Arsenal was the second highest scoring team in the Premier League, only 6 goals behind Man City. Last season, they were the second highest scoring team in the Premier League, only 5 goals behind Man City and 2 points behind them. Is a striker really the problem?
Yes, I mean, you mentioned teams with strikers. Please, Chelsea, we do not have a striker. When we look at a striker, let's look at the classification. That striker that will take to the next level. So I use a basketball analogy here. We have the elite superstars and we have the good players. And you know, basketball, there's something called clutch time. That's
Yeah.
why Jordan, LeBron James, Steph Curry, and co have made their name. Who's going to get you that one bucket, that winning shot? Who's going to come through when it's a critical moment? When it's a game, that's everything is wrong. Who's just going to give you that one moment? That's what we call, and that's what we need for these big teams. And that is what the other teams have always had. Haaland will be lost in the game, but I will give you that one moment. I mean, all those title winning, teams, the jobbers and all that. Arsenal doesn't have that. So when they're going get tough, and we need just one person to step up, they don't. And that's the problem.
So let's take a few steps backward. Let's take a few steps backward for us now. Towards the dying end of Arsene Wenger's time as the manager of Arsenal, after the exit of Robin van Persie to go help Manchester United win a title, we had some strikers. Arsenal had Adebayor, who scored 25 goals plus. Arsenal didn't win the league. Had Bretner, had Lucas Podolski. And then in the final part, that Emery came to inherit, and the early days of Arteta, Arsenal have Olivier Giroud. Arsenal had Lacazette, and they had Aubameyang. Aubameyang won the Golden Boot in the Premier League. But even that was not good enough, excuse me, to take Arsenal into the top four, not talk about competing for the title. So why would you say Arteta should go because he didn't win the league? Some other coaches have had strikers as Arsenal manager. They didn't even make the top four.
These strikers, not just strikers, like you mentioned, Robin van Persie, all those strikers you've mentioned after Van Persie doesn't have that kind of elements. Let's look at City. City moved from Aguero to Haaland. That's the striker. We are talking about that X factor kind of striker. You have to go on the market and spend big money. But Arteta will be spending a lot of money on goalkeepers and defenders and not spend on a striker.
Yes,
and that's
but how many X factor strikers do we have in the market? How many X factor strikers do you look at the market and say, is it Darwin Núñez? Is that a striker that you want somebody to go by? Diogo Jota? Who's the striker? What's the X factor striker?
Before Harry Kane left the EPL to go to Bayern, I think clubs could have done a better job of keeping him.
Arsenal cannot buy Harry Kane. Honestly speaking, Arsenal cannot buy Harry Kane at the time he left. It's not because of money. It's because of the relationship that is destroyed between those two clubs.
Business is business. It will be hardcore, but you can always strike a deal.
After Sol Campbell, name one player that have gone from Spurs to Arsenal.
I don't have a player that comes up with, but I always believe you can always strike a deal. Business is
I know
business.
some relationship
Especially in
have
that
been destroyed.
circumstance that Hurricane had the power. You can do with Hurricane convince him. I don't think it's about Arsenal Spurs 1 year, wait where you're making a deal, bossman, January free agent, all those kind of things. You get him on cheap. So looking at those circumstances, not like Hurricane had some 5 years left and Spurs will play hardball. You could have struck a deal. All the same, Victor has been on the market, even though you still have issues with him. And I think
Which
if you
Victor
look,
are
you
we
will
talking
find.
about?
But we are talking about since Ateta came. I think on the past 2 years, yes, Arsenal needs a striker to elevate. Then he ends up going to spend another 15 million on a keeper. Arsenal needs a striker to elevate. He spends all that money on Kai Havertz and all that. So what are we going to do in that case? He would still be second and bottle it. And I mean, lose the league by 1 point, 2 points, and we'll clap for you for challenging. Next season will be better. And still spend another 15 million on keepers and defenders and Kai Havertz and Cook without buying a striker to finish off the job.
Well, I don't think that I belong to the school of thought that Arteta should go. I would give him another 5 years contract to stay for 10 years. But let me welcome China Achiru, our ancestor. Finally, the book is everywhere. The fever of the book that we'll be talking about, The Diary of a Vagabond, is everywhere. I don't know if you've gotten your copy in Ghana, but it's everywhere. You should order it on Amazon. It's just everywhere. I see the movement around the book. But my advice to you, Kobe, if you want to enjoy China's storytelling, first get this one, right? Uh, A Thousand Times on the Same Road. It's very interesting. Some people think it's a football book. That's why I don't want to read football book. The thing is, if you pick this book and you read from the beginning to the end, it has nothing to do with football. Yeah, there is some football, on it, but it has nothing to do with football. But there are beautiful stories around African football that you would enjoy. You would enjoy anything you like to read about, whether it's fiction, whether it's drama, whether it's action, whether it's romance, is in the book. And then the new one. But then let me bring China in. You can't Babiman say in his absence. He's here, so he will talk. China, what happened this weekend? Plymouth, 24th on the league table in the championship, played 30 games, won only 5, drawn 10, lost 15, and Liverpool lost to them. What happened?
Football happens. It's the FA Cup. I think that when I saw the lineup, I mean, again, if Liverpool had won that game, we probably would have said this. Um, he started with a young team, and normally when coaches start with young teams like this, they have the experienced players on the bench in case they need to come in. But for this particular game, the only experienced players on the bench was Darwin Núñez, right? I also thought that midfield needed somebody strong, either McAllister or Gravenberch, at least one of them to be in that midfield. Then again, Endo, who would have played in midfield, had to be adjusted to center back because Joe Gomez got injured early. Not to make excuses, but the point is he went to the young team thinking that he could overcome the bottom place team in the championship. But football happened. So listen, that one is done. I think he's going to look back and I don't think he will make this mistake again. He's not going to do it again.
A friend of mine said that Arne Slot always pick the right moment to make mistakes. Mistakes that are not dangerous, that are not suicidal. That a Liverpool getting knocked out of the FA Cup is not really a big deal. That at the beginning of the season where Arne Slot was coming, if they tell anybody that, oh, you guys will play the Carabao Cup finals against Newcastle, hopefully Liverpool wins that one. You will be in the Champions League, and it's looking like this might be Liverpool's year because almost all the big teams are going to cancel themselves out and they are not in form, and then they win the league title. Everybody who is a Liverpool fan, the staunch one, would take it with both arms. Do you agree with that line of thinking?
Yes, when he came in from when Klopp left, the analysis from the pundits, from the fans, from the media, from everybody was that he's a new coach coming from a different league to a new club with players he did not sign. He's going to need time to get used to one, the system in England, two, the players with him. So most of the pundits in August put the league title to be between Arsenal and Manchester City, with Liverpool maybe having a shout for third or fourth place. I'm not sure of any one person, not even me, that thought Liverpool would be where they are right now. But again, football happens. If he had lost maybe his first two games, maybe the club won't be where it is now. Maybe. But like we say in local parlance, the ball bounced well for him. So he got the wins. And once you start winning games, your confidence as a coach will build up, the players' confidence will build up, and it can only keep going up. So I believe that we are lucky in our first three games. But if the result was different, we probably would have been about fourth or fifth at this time, probably. But because the first few games turned out well for the club, the confidence built. And listen, right now, Liverpool is unstoppable. Right now, not that I was telling a few friends the other day. Liverpool have topped the league at Christmas about 23 or 24 times.
I lost
But
it.
I've only won the league less than 14 times. Now, in the Premiership era from 1992, Liverpool have topped at Christmas 7 times, and I've only won once. 7 times since 92 and only won once. So the fact that Liverpool topped at Christmas does not mean they win the league. It happened last season, but the point now is that with the way the team is playing, and in previous seasons we had the big guns like Manchester City, always, breathing down our necks. We had Arsenal, but now City is not what it used to be. Arsenal is neither here nor there. So just maybe, unless Liverpool goes into free fall, I think that it might be smooth sailing because the confidence is building and people have noticed the club. As a Liverpool fan, I say hopefully we win the league. Hopefully we do win the league.
Do you worry that the contract matters for Virgil van Dijk, Trent Alexander-Arnold, as well as Mo Salah have not been sorted out? Are you worried?
No, I'm not worried. I'm not worried. You know why I'm not worried? Because I listen. It's either they sign the contract or they don't. Now, when this contract is started to time in September last year, my thinking was if they don't sign, it might affect the team's run for this season. But the way it's looking now, they're going to at least end the season with. Now, if they do sign the contract extension, first, we need Salah for that 1 or 2 years. We need Trent for the long haul. But I want to trust the owners of the club. And I tell Liverpool fans that you should understand the mentality of your owners. For Liverpool, they buy young and cheap. And by the time you get two or three contract extensions, by the time your wages get to 250, 300, they look to letting you go. That's been their pattern. So just maybe, if Salah and the rest don't play for us next season, there are adequate replacements coming in. But again, who can be a better replacement than Salah at this time? Who can be that person that is better than Van Dijk at this time? I'll trust their judgment. But one part of me believes that these contracts have been signed. They're just watching the media, they're watching the influencers make a fool of themselves. That's my thinking. These contracts have been signed. And hopefully they have been signed.
Peradventure, maybe they sign 2 and lose 1. I also think the same way with you. The way Liverpool players play, the body language. I think that Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah is guaranteed to stay. And let's say Real Madrid gets their man Trent Alexander-Arnold. Our very own Ola, have been in the form of his life. He's played football that we've not seen of him. And his contract runs out at the end of the season, so he will be a free agent. I don't know what Nottingham Forest is waiting for. Would you recommend an Ola, as a direct replacement for Trent Alexander-Arnold?
I will. But again, it depends on what it ends at Forest. If you look at the pattern of Liverpool signing players, when Liverpool signs the player at first, the wages are between 50,000 and 100,000 a week. You'll be shocked that a player like Luis Diaz earns less than £60,000 a week. So it's between 50 and 100 a week, knowing that in a 5-year contract or in 8 years of playing for the club, the player is going to get probably 2 or 3 contract extensions. And by the time the player ends up to 200, listen, my club would not pay more than 300,000 a week. You're not going to do that. Maybe Salah is lucky.
You're so sure.
He's the best player in the club. But so the point is that what does Ola Aina earn right now at Nottingham Forest? So it's going to determine
40,000
if the
pounds
club
a
will
week.
go for him.
Ola Aina earns 40,000 pounds a week.
Okay, then they can give him 60,000 pounds.
Because Taiwo Awoniyi right now is on 50,000 pounds. Ola Aina is on 40,000 pounds. Highest earning player at Nottingham Forest is Nikolai Milokovic. So
a man like Ola Aina with 40,000 pounds, he fits into the profile of Liverpool.
And he's coming for free.
No jokes.
He's coming for free. All you don't need to pay any transfer fee.
You should let the legends who are keeping your team go and bring him, because you can get a budget and you think you'll be able to do the job of what your current crop are doing.
Is Ola Aina a bad player?
No, but can he replace who you intend for him to replace?
Yes, I think so.
Here's my point. Liverpool, we are on the brink of going into administration when John Henry took over the club, right? They took their time to mend the books of the club. And by mending the books of the club, there was a salary structure. So we, except a Liverpool fan wants to live in denial, we know about the club. We know how they got Luis Suarez and sold him when it was time to sell him. We know about Coutinho. We know about how they let Mane go. By the time you get to a particular wage demand, they let you go and go for the next young player. Rather than they brought in Darwin Núñez, we have Luis Diaz, they're bringing some young players, Diego Jota, who is injury prone. Anyway, that is what they do at FSG. So I won't be surprised if Trent Alexander-Arnold wants, say, 300, 350 a week. I'm not sure we can pay him that amount of money. I don't think we can.
Well, let's switch to the Super Eagles. The draws for the African Cup of Nations has been made. Nigeria is in the same group with Tunisia, Uganda, and Tanzania. An easy run for Nigeria. Last time we talked about the Eagles coach, you came up with a line that has stayed in my head. Y class coach, or how did you call it? Class Y coach. And I don't know if this coach, by your classification, is a Y class coach, but there is something in me that's even saying he might not take us to the African Cup of Nations in December 2025. Reason being that if he needed the situation, the World Cup qualifiers, if he needed his qualification, the next 2 games, Nigerians, in our usual way, we say let him go. But do you see him bringing anything different? Some Nigerians don't even want him at all. Why would we, a whole Nigeria, why would we reduce ourselves so low to go get a Malian? Malian is 50-something in the FIFA ranking. Nigeria is 40-something. What pedigree? All that have been said. But what's your own take on this coach and what's your expectation for him as we wrap up?
I was also part of that school of thought that said it's a complete disgrace.
Really?
It's a total shame to have him coach the Super Eagles. Yes, I said that before he was hired, when the rumors came in. Yes, I'm not even ashamed of it. I felt total disgrace.
Wow.
But the moment he was hired, he became the Super Eagles coach. So when somebody coaches the Super Eagles, be it Keshi, Gerotro, I want to support the coach. Now, he's the coach, and I want to watch what he does. Now, his first game will be very important. Now, what players is he going to invite? How is he going to shape up his team? What will be that mentality going into games? I want to watch the first game away from home and the second game in Uyo, which I'll be there watching myself to understand what he's going to do. So right now, I'm not criticizing the coach. I'm observing him to know what he's going to do. But if he fails to qualify for the World Cup, like you said, I don't see him for the AFCON. Because Nigerians will say, let him go. That's what you do in Nigeria with hire and fire.
Okay.
So if he wins the AFCON and he fails to qualify for the World Cup, he should still go?
No,
No,
you've made
if
you're
he
not
fails
getting
to
the
qualify for the
sequence of the
World Cup,
conversation. We're not even
what
getting to
World
the
Cup qualifiers
AFCON.
end before the AFCON.
Yeah.
End before the AFCON, yeah. Yes. End before the
Uh,
AFCON. So if by August we're out of the race, knowing Nigerians, he will be our coach by December. I know my
I,
country
I
people.
I've said that everywhere that I've spoken about this matter. I was like, "Oh, will he win us the Nations Cup?" I said, "Look, the Nations Cup is not even for him to coach us yet. We would decide that when the time comes. For him to go to the AFCON with Nigeria, he needs to put up a good performance. 6 games, maybe win 4, draw 2 or so, but put up a good performance and then he goes, even if we don't qualify for the World Cup. But if we go and lose to Rwanda, lose to Zimbabwe, my dear, that contract will be shredded. Oh. That's why NFF will come out and tell you that, not we signed the contract, oh, it was forced on us. But having said that, the final part of this talk is there is a talk that Eric Sekuche is now looking to convince players like Kano Chukwuemeka, Itenwaniri, all these guys to come play for Nigeria. Good idea, talented players. But as we advance on this job, one of the things that I've noticed is that working with the older generation and working with Gen Z are different. And so I want to liken our situation in this media job with footballers. Do we have the environment, facility, and conditions that is conducive for these new Gen Z players? Our first foray into those group of players, the Leon Balogu, the True Stekong, was still different. But this time around, these guys, they want to be loved, they want to be pampered, they want to be hugged and kissed and romanced before they can play. Should we bother trying to get them to come in, knowing fully well that the NFF is owing players 20 match bonus that we've not paid, and there's a whole lot, there's no money? Should we bother going for them when we know we don't have the right environment, or it is okay, we go and get them anything where they see them take? What's your take?
Right now we're like a man drowning. So we are clutching at anything that comes our way. So we are clutching at straws, we are clutching, we are raising our hands up to grab whatever comes our way. And we've hired a new coach and we want to support him. We don't want it to be said that he didn't get our support. So what are we going to do? Let him invite who he wants to invite. If and one every whoever, let them come in. Now, they will only come in because their first choice country has not given them call-ups. So they're going to come in. Now, when you invite them, are we ready for them? You know, we are never ready for anybody. We are not. They're probably going to, they're probably going to, they're probably going to regret coming. They may not speak about it, but let them come in. If their presence in the Super Eagles will help us win our next 6 games. Matthew, we need to win the 6 games. We can't afford to draw one. If they are coming and make us win the next 6 games, then who cares? Let's win them. But it's an uphill task for him. I don't want to be in his shoes, except for the money he earns anyway.
Even the money is not really that big. Considering the work that is got to do, the money is not that big. And for those who are asking, what do Liverpool players, who are the top earners at Liverpool? Mohamed Salah earns £350,000 a week. Per annum, that's 18.2 million. Why he didn't take the Saudi Arabian contract still beats me, but hey, that's the situation. And he's 32 years of age. Virgil van Dijk earns £220,000 a week. That's 11.440 million pounds per annum. He's 33 years of age. And then you have Trent Alexander-Arnold, who is at £180,000. And if we go by the analysis that China had given to us, it is hard for us to see Liverpool giving these guys the kind of contract, because if you extend Mo Salah, you might have to take it to 400 or 500,000 pounds commensurate to what his peers are earning in other places. Liverpool will not do that. They will not forget in a hurry, and they were on the verge of bankruptcy, administration, and collapse. But having said that, we must say that this season, so far, Liverpool have done well. Yes, they were beaten by Plymouth Argyle out of the FA Cup, but they've done excellently well, beyond all expectation from pundits, analysts, reporters, journalists, even fans. And I'm sure even the players didn't expect that it would be like this for them. For Arsenal fans, I'm not going to say anything. If you think that Arsenal have done well, tell us in the comment section. If you think that they've not done well, I don't know. Manchester United is not a club for us to talk about right now. I think that the standard of this show have not gone above Manchester United. Let's not talk about Manchester United, but we could talk about Nottingham Forest. And on the Friday episode, we would sit here and look at Nottingham Forest. How does the club look at it from this perspective? How does a club that have such a very, very small budget, shoeless budget, perform the way that Nottingham Forest are performing? How? Look at them and I think of Ikorodu City with Toby and Co. But the kind of performances that they are putting on is incredible. I don't know if you have an idea. Leading up to the Friday, if you're in the comment section, tell us what you think that Nottingham Forest with Nuno Espirito Santo have done right that's making them perform so well and so good that other clubs can learn from. My name is Edafe Matthew. You love to call me the Legota on the Sports. And I've been with Kobe Bafo or Barrister Marcos from Ghana and our ancestor, a man of wisdom, a man that you call on anytime is there for you. China Achiru, you call him Query Man, the author of the book 1,000 Times on the Same Road and the Diary of a Vagabond, one you should not miss. I would always advise read this one first and then go to the other one. Bye-bye.